In this video, we'll have a more in-depth analysis on Bede and Hatterene. So he's a fairy tech that is weak to poison, and he's a Pokefair. So for stats, he has high HP, good special attack, special defense is okay, speed is okay. Now for his passives though, his passives are insane. Like crazy insane passives. Battle buff 9, you power up your regular moves as well as Sing move when target is confused, which is kinda easy to depends if you are one out of 5. The only two ways you can confuse is by using Psybeam or Gmax Smite, which is a bit sad. But if you have him at 2 out of 5, you have Gobsmack 4, 50% chance to confuse every time you use a move. So yeah, it depends. 4 out of 5 might be a bit difficult to use. Next firstly, we have Stupefication 9. You -1 special attack and special defense every time you use a move, Sing move or Max move, which is quite insane actually, because it also includes Sing move and Max move, so that's kinda crazy. And you can AoE debuff as well with Dazzling Gleam. Not specific, it's maximum superpower 5, so you power up move if it's super effective, and it applies to everything, right? Sing move, Max move, regular moves. It's like these two are already insane passives. That's 140% multiplier, crazy. Now for his moves, he has Dazzling Gleam, Mystical Fire and Psybeam. Mystical Fire, you can -1 special attack. Psybeam, 10% chance to confuse, which is I find it odd to not have aggravation in the grid for Psybeam, but okay I guess. Trend move is back to you. You apply status condition reflection effect. Next one does a lot of damage. The Sing move is most elite Fairy Beam. Powers up when target is confused, which like I said, maybe hard to set up. 1 out of 5 would be a bit difficult to set up on its own, of course. If you are confusion, Sing pair should be easy. And overall, for his base kit, it's actually quite impressive. His Sing move is quite high, even at 1 out of 5. Then the DPS for the Dazzling Gleam is actually not bad at 1 out of 5 as well. So for 1 out of 5 grid, he gets like MGR for OG moves, which is cool, and then clear that, which is cool as well. Nothing much. At 2 out of 5, you do get some code stuff. You get Gobsmack 4, which is very good. If you have him at 2 out of 5, you get this. You don't need another Confusion Sing pair anymore, and you don't have to rely on Gmax Spite anymore. Relying on Gmax Spite for confusion is not really the best thing. It depends. If it's Champion Stadium, it's fine because it's a short battle usually. Doesn't matter. If it's long battle, it's gonna wear out very soon. I think it wears out around like 2 Sing turns. So yeah, keep that in mind when you want to rely only on Gmax Spite for confusion. And then Gobsmack 4 applies to all the moves. You can AoE confuse 50% chance, which is always very nice. You have Speeding Sun 2, Healing Sun 1. Cool I guess for some fire stuff if you want. You also have Precognition 2, Will Recovery 1, also similar to the fire one, but this one is for Psychic. Super Duper 52 for some damage, nice. MPR 3, if you want to max out special attack, which no, you don't want to do this unless you can take Ramp Up 1 instead of MPR 3, right, at 3 out of 5. Ramp Up 1 is just better. Loop Therapy, which is not bad I guess, depends on stage. Now 3 out of 5, you got some pretty good stuff. You got 3 max move power ups plus 100, which is great. More damage, even better. Confusion Synergy 9 on top of this Battle buff 9, like dude, there's so many multipliers. Like this one, you Confusion Synergy 9 plus the 2 passive makes his DPS very high for a 2 gauge move. Like it's like 3 gauge level DPS actually, kinda. It's insane. You also have Hard Knocks 9, which is cool. You -1 random stat every time you use a move, Sing move or Max move, which is cool, right? For some extra debuff, and then you can AoE as well. And then you have Super Fire 4, which if you want to debuff very quickly, you can, right? 50% chance to -1 special defense again, right? On top of this Stupefication 9. Ramp Up 1, this is pretty good, especially for Gauntlet if you don't plan to bring any special attack, right? Because you want to conserve your teammates. Fuzzy Strike 5, more sync. His sync is very good, right? A lot of damage. Yeah, you just have to confuse it, which is easy to do. Depends. 1 out of 5 again. The only problem 1 out of 5 is the confusion thing. It's just not that effective using Gmax Spite. For short battles, again, I say it again, if it's long battles, the confusion is gonna wear out, right? So yeah, do remember that. So I have 5 builds to show you guys. The first one is for Champion Stadium for short battles, and then you have Fairy. Obviously it's gonna be using Fairy, right? For Gmax Spite as well, you have Gmax Spite, more power, Confusion Synergy, Gobsmack 4, Super Duper 52, Fuzzy Strike 5. This is like a full damage build. this build does a lot of damage for both DPS and Nuke. Next up is Gauntlet, which is the same thing as the previous one, just you swap these two, right? Because it's Gauntlet, you want to conserve your teammates, so you want to max out your own crit and special attack, which will be very helpful. So the third build is the Fire build. With Mystical Fire DPS, this will be really good against like 1v1 situations with like Legendary Gauntlet, right? Not against like Champion Stadium. I mean, it can work, but the reason I say it's not as effective against like 1v1 because Mystical Fire is only a single target move, right? So you can only debuff opponent one at a time, as opposed to Dazzling Gleam AoE debuff. So 1v1 Mystical Fire would be better, but I mean, it's up to you how you play him. You can use him as 5 DPS. Same with Psybeam as well, same thing. Only one target. Their DPS, 2 gauge DPS, pretty good, right? And they have the exact same parameter with like the Confusion Synergy 9 and then the 2 passives, right? Exact same parameter, so if you want to see like the damage comparison, just look at the BP. Dazzling Gleam does the most because it has 55 BP, 33 BP for Mystical Fire, the lowest one, and then Psybeam 52. But Mystical Fire you can debuff special attack, so that's kinda cool, I guess. And then on top of that you can -1 special attack from Superfication 9 as well, so you can -2 special attack every time you use Mystical Fire, which would be pretty helpful, right? Again, only single target, but still pretty useful sometimes. So for the grid, right, you are Max Flare because you are gonna use Max Flare. If it's against Fire Weak, you're gonna obviously use Max Flare. You have got Smack 4 again, Confusion. You can AoE confuse like using Dazzling Gleam once, right? If it's Champion Stadium. Yeah, you can Confusion Synergy 9, more damage, Hard Knocks 9 for more debuff, and then some power-ups, I guess. The next build is for Psybeam for Psychic DPS. Same thing with these two, again, Confusion stuff. Super duper effective 2, more damage. Precognition 2, I guess, since again you're gonna sync, right? So you get the power up for this one. You're gonna sync with Maximize Storm, Circuit Terrain. That's kinda cool. And yeah, so the last one is for purely tech stuff only. Basically, tech or debuff stuff. Hard Knocks 9, Super Fire 4, and then you have some damage stuff. Since again, like I said, the DPS is pretty solid, pretty good for 2 gauge move, really good. And again, you have AoE Confuse as well with Cosmic 4. With Hard Knocks 9 and then Stupid Fire 4, you can potentially -3 special defense, which is pretty cool. The chance of that happening is like 7%, I guess. That would be kinda cool, I guess, just something random I want to point out. Then for the new comparison, I'll be comparing Bede with Palantine's Arena and Summer Marnie. So the crit for Bede would be, you have Fuzzy Strike 5 here, and then 1 sync node. For Serena, you have Inertia and then 1 sync node. For Marnie, you have 1 sync node and then Devastation in the grid. So this is the damage. Bede does the most, slightly more than Marnie, just slightly. So for Bede, he has Baffle Buff 9, Maximum Super Power 5, both from passive. Very easy to set up. Fuzzy Strike 5, also easy to set up. The innate multiplier is Confuse, very easy. 3 of the multipliers are Confusion, which you can do with Gobsmack 4 from the grid. For Palantine's Arena, you only have Inertia, you have +6 speed, and Paralyze. Paralyze easy to do, Inertia kinda hard, because you need NPR to max speed, because you get +2 speed from a trainer move. And then on top of that, she is not that self-sufficient. She cannot buff her own crit, she cannot max her own special attack. So you need another support for that, which kinda sucks a bit. But again, this new is pretty good. Marnie is also a bit difficult to set up because Spirit Break only -1 special attack. You have to use it 6 times to get to -6 special attack. 80 buffs, very easy to do. You can use bulk up 3 times, you max attack and then defense and then crit. That is already 15 buffs. Quite easy to do. Let's assume Bede gets the opponent to -3 special defense, which is very easy to do. Just use Dazzling Gleam 3 times. Easy. And then Marnie also has a 50% chance to apply super effective up next when she uses bulk up. So that's a 50% increase, so let's change the damage a bit. Here it is. Bede still does more damage. And it can be even more with -6, but I'll just put -3, assuming you sync on the second sync, right? So -3, that is more realistic. For Marnie, it's super effective up next, but you have to use bulk up before you sync, which probably isn't likely, right? Since once you max out your attack, you won't use bulk up anymore. Okay, time for the DPS. Comparing with the same person, same people, Serena, Marnie, with the same exact grid as well. And then this time we have Confusion Synergy 9 from Bede and Super Duper Effective 2. For Serena, she has Paralysis Energy 5 and Overpower. And then Marnie, she has Super Duper 82 and Overpower as well. So this is the damage. As you can see, Bede does the least. I mean, that's kind of obvious. It's a 2 gauge move, right? And then we have Marnie with the highest 9.5k. Marnie and Bede has a lot of multipliers. So Bede has Battle Buff 9, Maximum Super Power 5, Confusion Synergy 9, Super Duper Effect 2. All of them are very easy setup, right? Confused and then super effective, easy. For Serena though, Serena has a lot as well, but it's very difficult to set up. Quite difficult. I won't say very, but quite difficult. Paralyzed, very easy. Debuff special attack, you cannot really debuff special attack because Moonblast only has a 30% chance to debuff special attack. So that kinda sucks, right? You have to rely on another teammate. Driving speed again, you need to get 1 MP to max speed with the trainer move. Hunter's Instinct, this one also quite easy. She has Cotton Spore, easy to AoE debuff speed by 2 stat ranks. For Marnie, she has Overpower. You need to use Spirit Break 6 times in a row or bring another special attack debuffer. Super Duper Effective 2. And again, let's assume Bede gets to -3 special defense. Marnie has Super Effective MX. This will be the damage. Only -3 special defense. Bede already does more damage than Serena. Marnie does even more damage as obviously with Super Effective MX, right? But again, once you use Bulk Up already, makes your defense, attack, crit, you're not gonna use Bulk Up anymore. Unless you're lacking gauges, then maybe, but like, yeah. But now let's convert this to per gauge. This is quite shocking, maybe, I don't know. Depends how you look at this. If you convert to per gauge, Bede has an insane damage per gauge. This is insane damage per gauge, like insane per gauge. Higher damage per gauge means that you have higher efficiency when you use your moves, right? Because more damage per gauge, it means that every gauge you consume is very efficient, very high damage. And Dazzling Gleam is only a 2 gauge move, so speed is unlikely to be the issue. Then Serena has the lowest. Marnie also, Marnie has, without super effective MX, Marnie will have a pretty low, I won't say pretty low, but lower damage per gauge, but still not bad. Now should you summon Bede and Hatterene? Yes and no. Yes, because he, well, honestly, Bede does a lot of stuff. A lot of like insane amount of stuff. AoE debuff special attack and special defense, AoE confuse, AoE very DPS. You have some fire, psychic DPS. Yeah, very good, very nuke. Summon Sun, summon Circuit Terrain. He has so many stuff he can do. There's so many stuff. Like he is really good sync pair. But you have a lot of Master Fair, right? This month we have 3 Master Fairs, total Master Fairs. So you might want to consider that first. But of course, if Bede is your favorite character or something, then go for him. There's no right or wrong answer for this one. But if you're strictly for the meta, you'll go for the Master Fair first. And then if you already have good fairy types, right? Like good fairy techs, like Summer Marnie, Valentine Dawn, Valentine Serena, then you don't need him. He is a good addition, don't get me wrong, he can do a lot of stuff like I said already, but maybe save your gems for the anniversary. Now if you plan to summon him, what move level should you aim? 1 out of 5, 3 out of 5 works just fine. 2 out of 5 also works because at 2 out of 5 you get Gobsmack 4, 50% chance to confuse. Now at 1 out of 5 he has a pretty good nuke. He can AoE debuff special attack and special defense. 3 out of 5 you have more nuke, pretty good DPS, and even more debuff.